Have you ever heard of a place where people gather to meet God, but instead met death? A place where prayers turn to screams and hope turn to smoke rising to the sky. This is not a movie. This happened in real life. Welcome to the story of Kanungu Massacre, one of the most shocking and mysterious tragedies in the history of Uganda and the world. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bells. Here, we tell real-life stories that shake the world. Stories that try to hide from you. Hit the subscribe button right now, because this one you won't forget. It all began in the beautiful hills of Kanungu, a quiet district in southwestern Uganda. A place known for its green valleys and peaceful people. No one imagined that one day, this calm village would become the stage for a horror that would shock an entire nation. The year was 2000, but to truly understand what happened that March, we have to go back a few years earlier, to the 1980s, when a strange religious movement started spreading across Uganda. It was called the Movement for the Restoration of the Ten Commandments of God. The founders said they were chosen by the Virgin Mary herself to lead people back to obeying God's commandments, especially after so much corruption and sin in the world. The leaders of this movement were Joseph Kibwetere, a former politician and a respected man in his hometown, and Credonia Ngwerinde, a woman who claimed to have seen visions of the Blessed Virgin Mary. According to her, the Virgin Mary appeared and told her that the world was filled with sin. People no longer respected God, and the Ten Commandments were being broken every day. God was angry. The end of the world was near. Credonia said she was told to gather people who wanted to be saved. She joined forces with Kibwetere, and together they formed the movement. They were later joined by other leaders, Dominic Kataribabu, a defrocked Catholic priest, Joseph Kasapurari, and John Kamagara. At first, their teachings sounded holy. They told people to obey the Ten Commandments, to pray, to fast, and to live simple lives. But as time passed, things started to change. Members were told not to talk too much. Silence was a sign of holiness. They were forced to fast for long days, to work on the group's farms, and to give up their property to the movement. People sold their land, their cows, their homes, all in the hope of finding salvation. They believed the world was about to end, and only those inside the movement would be saved. The leaders told them, the Virgin Mary had spoken. The world will end on December 31st, 1999. Only the faithful will be taken to heaven. Fear spread like fire. Many people left their families and joined the courts. Others sold everything they owned and donated it to the movement, hoping to buy their tickets to heaven. As the year 1999 came closer, tension grew. The followers gathered in Kanungu, singing and praying every day, waiting for the end. Then came December 31st, 1999, the day they believed the world would end. But nothing happened. The sun rose the next morning. The world didn't end. People were still alive. Confusion filled the camp. Some members began to whisper. Had they been lied to? Had God changed his mind? But the leaders acted fast. Credonia Ngwerinde told the followers that the Virgin Mary had given a new date. The world, she said, would now end on March 17, 2000. She told them this would be the true day, the final day, when they would finally meet God. As March approached, strange things started happening. Visitors who came to the camp said the followers were building a large church-like hall, neatly painted and decorated with flowers. It looked like they were preparing for a big celebration. But underneath that joy was something dark. Several cult members who began asking questions suddenly disappeared. People who tried to leave were never seen again. Behind the smiling faces and daily prayers, something evil was building. Then came March 17, 2000, the day they said the world would end. Early that morning, hundreds of followers, men, women, and children, gathered inside the new church building. They sang hymns, danced, and prayed loudly. Their voices filled the air. The leaders told them to prepare their hearts to meet God. They told them to confess their sins one last time. The church doors were shut tightly. The windows were nailed closed. The people didn't know, but they were trapped. At exactly around 10 a.m., villagers nearby saw smoke rising from the compound. Then flames. The entire church building was on fire. Inside, hundreds of people screamed for help, but no one could get out. The fire spread fast, the roof collapsed, the smell of burning flesh filled the air. By the time help arrived, nothing was left but ashes and bodies. Over 500 people were dead, burned beyond recognition. Uganda was in shock. The government, the police, the entire world. No one could believe it. At first, many thought it was a mass suicide. But when investigators began digging deeper, they realized it was much worse. They discovered mass graves in other cult compounds across the country. In Rugazi, Buhunga, and Kibwetere's home in Rukungiri. Some bodies had been poisoned, others were strangled. The total number of deaths reached over 900. This wasn't just a suicide, it was a mass murder. And the leaders, they were gone. No one ever found Credonia Mwerinde or Joseph Kibwetere. Some say they died in the fire. Others believe they escaped, hiding somewhere in Uganda or even outside the country. But one thing is sure, the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God left behind one of the darkest chapters in Uganda's history. But how did normal people, mothers, fathers, and children come to believe such a deadly lie? How did the leaders manage to control hundreds of minds so completely? When the smoke cleared in Kanungu that morning, the land was silent. The once busy prayer compound, now nothing but ashes and bones. Hundreds of people who came to meet God had met death instead. The air was thick with the smell of burned wood, burned clothes, and burned dreams. Police officers and local villagers walked through the ruins, covering their noses. They had never seen anything like it. Bodies were piled on top of each other, stuck to the floor, burnt beyond recognition. There were no survivors inside the church. The number of dead kept rising. 100, 200, 300, over 500 lives gone in one morning. But this was only the beginning. Before we continue, please subscribe to this channel and turn on your notification bells so you don't miss more true stories like this. Stories that remind us what happens when faith falls into the wrong hands. In the years before the massacre, the movement for the restoration of the 10 Commandments of God had built several compounds across Uganda, not only in Kanungu, but also in Rugazi, Kambuga, and Buhunga. At first, people thought it was just another strict religious group. They wore green uniforms, prayed for long hours, and followed the 10 Commandments like soldiers. But the leaders, Joseph Kibwetere, Cardonian Werinde, Dominic Kataribabu, and Joseph Kasapurari, had much darker control over their followers. They thought that even talking was a sin. Members could go for days in total silence. They also banned soap, banned sex, banned eating meat, and even stopped people from using mirrors. They said beauty was pride, and pride was a sin. Followers were forced to confess every sin in public. If someone was caught lying, they would be punished or isolated. Fear ruled everything. Kibwetere, the male leader, was seen as a prophet, but many said it was Cardonian Werinde, the woman who truly controlled the group. She claimed to speak directly to the Virgin Mary, and every message she gave became law. When she said the end of the world was coming, everyone believed her. She told them to sell their property and hand the money to the church. They were told they wouldn't need anything on earth anymore because heaven was waiting. By the late 1990s, the movement had grown powerful. Many followers included teachers, farmers, even former priests and nuns. They lived in fear and devotion, waiting for the great day of the Lord. When December 31st, 1999 passed without the end of the world, cracks began to appear. Some members were angry. Others began asking for their property back. The leaders held secret meetings. Survivors later said the leaders seemed afraid. They knew the followers would soon turn against them. Then came a new prophecy. March 17, 2000. The Virgin Mary, they said, had moved the date. This was the final test of faith. But the truth, according to the investigators later, was that the leaders had planned a mass killing to cover up their lies. After the fire, police searched other compounds owned by the cult, and what they found was horrifying. At a farm in Rugazi, they dug up 153 bodies, all buried in a pit. Men, women, and children. In Buhunga, they found 155 more, hidden beneath a banana plantation. In Kambuga, there were 81 more. And in Rukungiri, at the home of Kibwetere himself, more than 450 bodies were found buried on that floor. Some were poisoned, others strangled, some had nails driven into their heads. It became clear. The fire in Kanungu was not a mass suicide. It was the final act of a long series of murders. Investigations showed that many followers who tried to leave were killed quietly and buried secretly. The leaders used fear to control everyone. They told members that anyone who disobeyed or tried to leave will be cursed forever, that fire will fall from heaven and destroy them. That's how hundreds stayed, even when things no longer made sense. But here is the biggest imagery. Where were the leaders? When the police began counting the dead, none of the top leaders were confirmed among them. Their names: Fredonia Werinde, Joseph Kibwetere, Dominic Kataribabu, Joseph Kasapurari, and John Kamagara, all disappeared. Many believe they escaped days before the fire. Some say they left for Congo. Others believe they changed their identities and still live somewhere in Uganda. The Ugandan government issued international arrest warrants through Interpol, but none of the leaders were ever found. No one was ever brought to trial. No one was punished for the deaths of over 900 people. To this day, the Kanungu Massacre remains one of the worst cult-related mass murders in world history, second only to Jonestown in Guyana, 1978, where over 900 followers of Jim Jones also died in a mass poisoning. But what made the Kanungu tragedy so terrifying was how quietly it happened. These were not criminals or soldiers. They were ordinary people. Mothers, fathers, children, all searching for hope, all deceived by people they trusted. They believed they were walking into heaven. Instead, they walked into fire. After the tragedy, Uganda was left in shock. The government began monitoring new religious movements more closely. Many churches were investigated, some were banned. But the biggest lesson was clear. Blind faith without reason can destroy lives. Faith is powerful. It can heal, it can guide, but in the wrong hands, it becomes a weapon. If you ever hear someone claim they alone speak for God, if you ever meet a leader who says you must obey them completely to be saved, remember Kanungu. Remember the hundreds of innocent people who followed the promise of heaven and found only death. This is the story of the Kanungu Massacre. The day when prayers turned into screams and believers burned for a lie. If this story touched you, please subscribe to our channel and turn on your notification bell to get notified anytime we drop our new videos. Your support helps us bring you more powerful true stories, real events that the world must never forget. And remember, truth saves, but deception destroys. Until next time, stay safe and never stop questioning what you believe. Thanks for watching. We love you and we would like to have you back on our channel. Hope to see you again. Bye.